Rise and shine, fever dreamers. Look alive, my friends. I'm V Spear.
And I'm Sami Sage.
And this is American Fever Dream, presented by Betches News.
The show where we are talking with a fave of ours, Akilah Hughes, writer, comedian, podcaster, and host of the podcast, How Is This Better?
Yes. Thank you for having me. Thank you. This rules.
Also, mother to Fauci.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see his little ears. He's just biting himself. So
That's what one does.
What kind of dog is Fauci?
Oh, Fauci is a super mutt from Korea. I got him in the pandemic, which is why he's Fauci. But he's mostly Korean Jindo and Japanese Spitz. So he's just
cute.
A little weirdo. He looks like a black fox, the cutest little guy.
Oh my God,
my gosh.
Muffin. Look at those ears.
You know, it would be so badass if you had gotten him before the pandemic, before people really knew who he was. And he's like, well, actually, I discovered him. And, you know,
he's just
I named him
Italian.
this. Yeah.
Family name.
Do you ever call him Tony for short?
That's
Tony,
very
get over
cute.
here.
I mean, he gets Fauci potato. That's the closest we get to.
Fauci potato.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
little baby.
That's perfect.
love
That's
it.
perfect. Well, today we are recording this on Monday. Listeners, viewers, you're watching this on a Thursday. So the world could be just like a totally different place by the time you hear this.
Oh, it will be, Sammy, on account of the fact that Iran just launched missiles at our base in Qatar. So it will be different, but we're living in a fever dream right now.
And also at Bahrain and Kuwait, I'm watching it on the television at the moment.
This
That's
is breaking
happening
news
now.
for me.
Lots
So
of
good grief.
It's literally breaking news for the people that it's happening to, actually.
Yeah,
We're
you're
watching
right.
it. Like, it's just...
It might be even worse for the people it's breaking for there. But
Yes.
not great.
No,
Not great.
it's
That's
like-
No, my heart is racing out of my chest that we are recording this right now, and that I'm like, okay, I got out a TikTok about the first hits, but yeah.
You know what's really freaking me out? So there's a NATO summit. How is it that they're always having a meeting when these things are unfolding? Which I kind of feel is more dangerous than if there wasn't a NATO summit, because at these things, our president ends up being like dissembling and just totally getting, like, you don't know what's gonna, something
he's
could
not
happen
inspiring
that was
confidence.
just something that could happen that's totally unplanned because someone like looks at him funny.
Well, the French embassy is already issuing statements distancing themselves from the United States. Like President Macron was trying to establish direct communication with Iran because they've kidnapped some French citizens that they're holding. And he is trying to be like, look, man, we had shit to do with this. Okay. We are also freaked by Trump right now. Please do not punish us. And so I think, the NATO summit that's going on right now is very tricky. I'm in LA and was supposed to do the Liz Plank show in 30 minutes. That's not going to happen. I don't think we have time for silliness today, although I love Liz Plank and it would have been really great. And I'm going to the AI conference in San Francisco, which starts tomorrow. So I think that we're in a weird place right now with people to see how this week's going to unfold.
Yeah.
But Akilah, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for inviting me into the Situation Room, into the bunker with you all.
Yes.
It is lovely here. Unfortunately, the world just keeps doing things. It would be great if it could pause.
Too many things. It's too many things.
It's truly a fever dream, which is that's why we have the show named as such. But we wanted to talk to you about something today specifically. I think this is evergreen. We could talk about this any day, no matter when. It is our Democrat mess tracker. And while the mess we're in is totally the making of our dear leader, the fact that Democrats are just absent, if not supportive of this, even if you support it in theory, it's
why?
Totally unconstitutional.
Let's not give them that. Let's not give them that.
Right. Like, where are they? What are they doing? And what do you think they should be doing?
That's a great question. And it's something that I've been wrestling with. I mean, I think since Trump got inaugurated, but I also think that like it's just come into such sharp focus in the past week. I think where I start is what can they be doing? Because I think that like we all want them to do something, but we're like, what is the thing? And so look, I was in high school during the Iraq War. I don't know exactly. I don't remember a specific line of pushback that like was effective. Frankly, we were there for another decade, so it's like. I mean, I think that they could be outspoken. I love that, I mean, I guess Bernie's an independent, but, at least he's on the left saying stuff. AOC is calling for impeachment. There have been plenty of like members making statements, but like they don't have their own like missiles to launch. So I don't know exactly what can be done in this situation. Like they can, even if they impeach him, he's been impeached twice. So like I am kind of in that pit of despair with, I think, everyone who's just watching as the world is burning, because I don't know, like when people say, why aren't they doing something? I actually don't know what people are expecting them to do. Like I don't know. Like he did this without Congress. So why does it matter?
The way I think about it is like, what would he do in a situation that was out of control? And so in like the idea that you can't do something has never stopped him. And I'm not even suggesting necessarily, serious law breaking moves, but he thinks outside of the box. Would a Democrat have ever thought that they should go perform working at McDonald's or driving a monster truck, like to prove a point? Like,
but could that be the solution to this?
I don't mean that, but I think something that I've realized is how much of what goes on is narratively driven, and a lot of it does get stopped. But like, as much as things are getting destroyed minute by minute, day by day, a lot of it is foiled. And just sort of, he can't do everything all at once. And I think that when the performance fails and he gets distracted by something else, we move on to something else. So it's like, and I don't think he really wants to be in a war, but I think he gets like teased into things. Like he gets teased into regime change. Like it's always like he needs to touch the stove. He just needs to. He can't help it. And even just the suggestion of it, like snake rattles him into it, or saber rattles him into it. That's what I mean. But I think Democrats, like, they need to just think of a performance. Like they need to think about it not as legislative or judicial or tactical legal things they can do. They need to think about it like, what ridiculous stunt would an interesting person pull?
Here's my pitch to anybody listening who's like maybe a governor of a state. Maybe call in all of your National Guard, not to do anything, but make it so that they can't be deployed. Like start doing the things that like lobby the military to not do these things. I don't know. I mean, I think that like you're absolutely right. This is a president whose entire MO is like shock. Do whatever the weirdest thing is. Fake your own death if you have to. You know what I mean? Like, yes. It's a lot of theater. And so I think that like that could be something. But I also am like, man, we might have to just rely on the international community. Like I honestly, I'm
why would they?
Right. Because I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I think about like, when he shut down the LGBT suicide hotline and Canada immediately was like, here's a 1-800 number you guys can call in the US. Good luck. Like, sorry that you're dealing with this. Like, I just think we have sort of a feckless government. I think I think it's everything in our culture right now. I think we need all new representatives. I think we need all new famous people. I think we need all new like TV execs. Like, I think we need a complete overhaul. America's in a flop era.
That is exactly what it is. It's not just the government. It's not just, it's all of it. It's like the whole set of people that were given permission to give each other power.
Totally.
But how do you, I mean, that's just I love that. Page one rewrite. I would even go for a parliamentary system at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to trial balloon it. Like Trump did it. Just why can't we do these things for good? Why can't we use his stupid fucking tactics and showmanship for the benefit of people?
Are you suggesting we do, in fact, come up with a Nobel Peace Prize that he could win if he does XYZ things? Like, how you have to treat toddlers and you're like, listen, if you don't pick your ass at the restaurant tonight, you can get dessert.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Like, if you don't do this really horribly embarrassing, weird thing that you do, I will give you a cookie. That's the path we're on with Trump.
I think we're past that for him because they did that in his first term. We already did that. That was like who his people were. Ivanka's like,
Right.
I'm done. I'm out of
Right.
here. I'm going to Miami.
I know, where's she at?
I have $2 to $3 billion to $4 billion. Bye.
She's
I don't
in
need this
Qatar
anymore.
hanging out with the people who are hostages now because
Well,
she's just got their money.
She better look to the skies, Ivanka, because it is not
like,
working
what are you
out,
doing, girlie?
buddy.
Yeah, it's not
Oh
looking
my
good.
God, Qatar's got to be so mad that they made like new friends with Trump and now they're the target with their gold
Right.
plane and their ass kissing tour. They got to be like, fuck, man. Now
Yeah.
we're like, oh God,
Now our
we
oil's
thought we
$1
were in
billion.
with the cool guys, and now we're getting bombed by Iran.
This is like really not great. This is one of the less ideal situations, but also so predictable. And he just didn't. Why couldn't he just renegotiate the JCPOA? Why can't I can't get off this, really?
Because he doesn't know how to actually make a deal. I think we're learning that that's a thing, right? He doesn't know how to make a deal. And he has these ideas of like, I'm going to ask for the most extreme, crazy thing and try to bully my way into getting it. This is not a man. Again, it comes down to a man who does not understand consent or mutual benefit.
I think it's this bizarre false confidence. And like, this is something that I think Democrats could be a little bit better about because like, I don't know, the next episode of How's This Better is about wrestling. It comes out the day after this episode airs. And it's about how wrestling informs all of our politics today. But like Republicans don't care if they're cringe. They don't care if they're the heel. They actually like it if you boo. It gives them something to play off of. And Democrats are like, we did something embarrassing. Someone had a stupid sign at a protest. I'm so embarrassed to be a lib. I hate that. And I'm like, get information. Shut up. Like, why? You have to, not even that you have to root for our heroes, but like, believe we can do something heroic. I think we're just so down on ourselves. We're like a football team that like is down 50 at halftime and we just need our special stuff. Like, can we just pretend? So I don't know. I feel like with Trump, his wrestling of it all is like, great. If they boo me, I'm winning. And the Republicans, like I'm in my hometown Facebook group in Florence, Kentucky, and I like to lurk. And look, they're feeling it. They're like, my kid's in the military. I really don't want a repeat of like what happened when I was growing up. But outwardly, if you look at their like status updates, they're like, Trump's #1. Trump is winning. And I'm like, guys, it's this false confidence that you kind of have to project. And I feel like we're projecting Loserville. Like, we gotta stop. And I think that's everybody in the left. I think it's like the hyper lib, like who were like Biden could have won, all the way to the leftists who are like, burn it all down. We suck. And like, this will be better. I'm like, right. But over there, they're just like kikiing about being losers. Like they don't even give a shit. So like, can we try? Let's just try it for one day. Let's have one pep rally.
We need to be like the AEW of their WWE. I love that you use wrestling as the thing here because that is exactly it. And remember that Donald Trump is a WWE superstar. Okay,
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
He performed. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he understands kayfabe. He understands creating conflict and narratives and storylines to further a plot or a character. And yeah, you root for him whether he's the heel or the face, and they're willing to be cringe. And it is it is huge.
Meanwhile, before Chuck Schumer does anything, and listen, I would never be caught dead defending this man, but before he does anything, we're firing off tweets like, can't wait for the stupid statement coming from him. And I'm like, so it doesn't even matter. Like, you guys are really screwing up.
No, here's the thing. I actually think if Chuck Schumer did something cool, people would root for him.
No,
like,
they wouldn't. They wouldn't. He is the heel and we hate him.
But that's okay because he's not going to do anything. But think about how people turned over on Gavin Newsom. And then he became the hero in like a week.
Chuck Schumer did try to do something cool. He came on my show and he said the F word like 90 times and it was cringe every single time. No, but that was his version of cool and edgy, okay? And
okay, but he
we all
isn't
sat there
doing
like,
it.
oh my God, not again. Every single time he said the word, it was like, I love the F word. And I was like, I don't know if I could use this word anymore.
Right. But here's the other thing. It's like, I think we bump against like there isn't anything cool you can do from the left. Like, the goal of the left now is just to make fun of the left. I can't tell you how many conversations I had this past week where it's like, this is exactly what Kamala would have done. And I'm like, are you guys shadow boxing a ghost?
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? You know what she'd be doing? What she's doing, which is having wine in Napa while the world burns because y'all didn't vote for her. So let's start boxing Trump. And they're like, no, I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun.
Because people on the left are more like willing to be like, oh, maybe I am wrong. On the right, they're like, there's no fucking way I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be blue MAGA. I'm in my blue MAGA era. I'm just going to be delusional, and we're winners. And I think I have to go to a place of optimism and delusion.
Or here's the thing. Okay, here's a pitch. So, like, the only time I think that, like, the values of the left and progressives do well in pop culture these days is like the Olympics. Like, you know, I don't think that those like complaints about the opening ceremony stuck. Like, they're like, this is Satan. We don't care. We're watching these kids fulfill their dreams. And so I think that, like, what's also great about the Olympics is that they're actually just very earnest. And we have to get to a place where, like, earnest politics can be a winning message. Like, I don't actually want to be competing in a who's a cooler, they're politicians. They're all losers. They're all losers. So, like, and like, let's not pretend Ted Cruz is cool. Let's not pretend that, like, anyone on the right is cool. These are dweebs. So, like, let's just get back to being like, we're not trying to elect and we're not trying to support people who are there to be cool. We're there for the people who are going to get shit done, who are smart and effective. Like, I need an effective team, not a cool team. I don't care if that kid who's on the pommel horse wears glasses and does a Rubik's Cube, he's winning gold. Like, this is what we need.
Well, you know what's cool? The coolest people are always the ones who are themselves, who are authentic. So I think that people will accept a lot of different forms of Democrat as long as it rings as real. And that's all people want. And I think that if, like what you said about like the kayfabe, they need to embrace that. They need to understand that you can be yourself authentically if you engage in that by just reacting the way they would really react behind the scenes on stage. Like, that's why the Tim Walz weird stuff worked so well. And I think they should stick with that message. It is fucking weird to be talking about high school sports teams on the national level. I'm sorry, that is fucking weird because you care about what children's genitals look like. Like, why are we discussing this? It is weird. It's gross. It's creepy. It is creepy that they want to be in your bedroom. It's like,
weird
why
that they
can't
care
we
what
just
books you're reading? I'm like, most of these people cannot read. Let
Freedom
them read
people.
whatever comes before their eyes, please. Okay, reading is fundamental, and they're losing it. They're losing the ability. So read whatever it says. I don't care if it says black people were in America before the Native Americans. I don't care what bullshit they're selling. Just like, let them read some words, get some literacy going in this country.
It's also like, these are the don't tread on me people. So you're going to tread on me and what I can read. And the other thing about like the billionaires, there's so much idolatry around billionaires, and they need to be showing how fucking weird billionaires are. They are such creeps. They do really weird things. They're all prepping for the end of the world because they know that they're created a world in which they're causing it, that they're creating the end, that they're going to have to go all live in these weird bunkers on like weird private islands that are so armed to the teeth because they're afraid that people are going to revolt against them. They are creepy. It's just, I don't know.
They also aren't like the old billionaires. Not to say that like billionaires should exist, but the older billionaires used to like build things for America. Like, there was like there was an obligation to give something back, even if it had their name on it. It was like, well, I would like to create an arts for this country. I would like to create a forest. I would like to employ people, not just like, I would like to sit on my hoard of money and like have weird skin that looks like the inside of my mouth, and I would go on the news and just yell at people like, no, get out of here. You guys are weird. Just give us money and fuck off.
They're competing for control, and they're everyone else is like an NPC to them in the entire world. That's why they can't just be content in their money and like fuck off to the south of France, which is what I would do.
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like, why can't you just
the cost?
Yeah.
For $1 a day, I'll go to the south of France and just leave y'all alone.
They're literally like they're they're not just billionaires, because just normal, like what you're saying, the older billionaires could just enjoy their money and kind of be private about
to
it.
Like give some of it away at some point.
Yeah. No, they used to make pledges. These people are freaks. They're just freaks.
Well, because the old people used to be happy to have their money and be separate. And now these people also want to control the culture. They don't want to just be rich. They want to be rich and famous. They want to be a mogul. They want to be a trendsetter. They want to be the most popular person. And I think a lot of it is because the billionaires of today started things like social media platforms. Right. And Mark Zuckerberg gets bullied on his own platform, and he doesn't like that. You know what I mean? He thinks he should be the Tom of MySpace. But why we like Tom at MySpace is because he minded his own goddamn business.
Right. He was like, and you'll never hear from me. I won't even change my picture. You don't need to know what I look like from any other angle even. Like, it's just this. Just
the side.
Right.
Please
he
give
could
us
be
one
walking
picture
among
of Mark
us.
Zuckerberg and never hear from him again. Like,
right. You could have been the coolest. You could have been like a mysterious, benevolent kind of billionaire, but no.
Well, you know why they keep doing this? Because the one thing they can't do is make people like them and agree with them and respect them and think they're funny and cool and hot. So they
don't improve anybody's life. Like they have so much ability to do so. And I'm like, I would absolutely wear a Mark Zuckerberg t-shirt if at any point his products didn't just make my life a little bit worse.
Yeah. But that's the one thing they can't buy.
All of these things. It's like, yeah, they're horrible.
Build me a railroad, okay? Get me something nice.
A high-speed railroad. They promised that. Where is the railroad, Elon? Where's the tunnel from Vegas to LA?
He was like, I discovered tunnels, and I'm like, it's not, 1654, bro. Like, do something. Man. Do something.
There is no tunnel. There's no tunnel. Also, there's famously no tunnel, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's a tunnel under Vegas, right? And but it just goes to the hotel, and if there's no exhaust exit, so everybody's just breathing fumes.
It's like the shuttle that they exist under the Capitol building. That's all it is.
I love that. That reminds me of Thomas the Tank Engine, the little shuttle under there, and it makes me so happy. And I picture it every time. I'm like, they're like do 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 do. Switching gears slightly, what do you think? People have been protesting a lot. I feel like there's protests on protests every day, all day for everything. The No Kings protests, I felt, were sort of a departure from what a normal protest is, which is has demands and a structure and an organization with leaders. What do you think about the culture of protest these days?
I mean, that's such a good question, because I think I kind of have a lot of thoughts. I think the main thing is if you can compel middle-class white people to leave their house on a Saturday, then it's not for nothing. I do think that the show of that, because also I live in LA, it was a nice day. You could have absolutely not been outside or been, just drinking a mimosa, but you chose to make a little sign and walk around and be photographed. And, again, not for nothing, but you did that in front of Marines and the police who just a day earlier were tear gassing everybody. And then later on that day, tear gassing everybody. And so I think that when we're living in this era of media trumps everything, the show of millions of people showing up, wasting their Saturday, spending their Saturday, however people feel about it, I think does matter, because it's it is something that we will be pointing to. I think that the clips are enough. Forever, when people are talking about opposition to Donald Trump, you have streets filled across this country, even in really small places, with people. Was there a demand? No. I mean, I was at the LA protest downtown, and it was people were there because they were science is important and immigration is, we should probably have a better path to immigration than rounding people up. And, I don't want to go to war. It was sort of a vast array. Right. Just a general, we don't like this. But no king. But I think that right. And so I'm with that. I think that I also am weirdly defensive of the protests because of the civil rights movement, because again, most of that was the point is the show. The point is that it's going to get coverage. It isn't, we have demands, sure. But the reality was if these people are out here every Sunday marching and they're peaceful, this means something. And so there's that like very famous now on social media sort of or like, I guess, statement that is like, whatever you're doing now is what you would be doing during the civil rights movement and during slavery and during the Holocaust and all of these things. Like, you are the people who are supposed to be responding. And I get furious at the people who are too lazy to leave their homes, but are sitting on Twitter complaining about it because I'm like, that's what you'd be doing. In the civil rights movement, these people would be outside getting sprayed with water hoses, tear gassed, bitten by dogs, and you'd be at home in your little safe house on your toilet yelling to your wife or whoever lives with you that it's stupid and it's not doing anything and they didn't mean it. It's like, just shut up. Like, oh my God, if my grandma was alive, she would come to your house and beat you herself. Like, it's just outrageous that people think that like that is somehow an equivalent protest, is shitting on people who are willing to show up and who are on their side, who want a better world. So like, I mean, could they be more organized? Yes. But I also think we're living in the future, right? It's not the 50s. We don't need to have one leader in this sort of centralized power telling us what it is. I think that like social media,
it's dangerous to have one leader because they will take that leader out. Yeah,
exactly. They'll take that leader out. Or if that leadership or group, like look at Black Lives Matter, the moment certain chapters were seen as corrupt, suddenly the whole mission is bad and it was never about anything. And I'm like, I just don't buy it. So it's like, I think, you know, if we're living in a decentralized time, we don't have a unified culture, but people can still come together and say, we know that this sucks. Like, I think that that's good.
I totally agree with you. And I think that the idea that you have to have a demand, obviously I think it depends what you're doing. You're not a union on strike. You are a very diverse group of people who have different grievances against the administration that are all valid for all different reasons. And we're also not in a political system where are you going to enact that demand? Who is going to give it to you? What's the actual way by which you will measure success? And knowing that you can't actually measure that success or probably achieve those specifics around like one unified thing, you then have people becoming discouraged. Whereas if you can, on a continuous basis, look around and see that there is opposition everywhere in the country, when the time comes that there is a thing to mobilize around, or an election, or a particular moment, black swan event, you never know what's going to come. Then those people can all look around and be like, okay, we all are on the same page that this is not okay. So I think it's good. And I think a lot of the yelling online is bots that are actually very good at their jobs. And yeah. And I think that people don't even realize that.
Do you think it's bots saying that Black people aren't participating in the protests? Because I live in Rochester, and I'm going to tell you, Black people are participating in the protests, like predominantly participating.
Yeah. Anything suppressive in general like that is just like, look at the profile. You can pretty much tell.
Yeah. I mean, it's that. And it's also, I think that like in this country, in like the past, I guess what social media has been sort of a big deal for 15-ish years, like all of the foreign governments that are trying to sow dissent in the country are always saying Black people aren't doing this thing, or something negatively impacts Black people, because they know that Black people run the culture. And so if Black people start saying this is stupid and isn't cool, then people will be like, oh, well, then, I mean, if that's what the culture's saying. And there were Black people all throughout LA. I know there were Black people in New York. I mean, I think that like, you know, and also I think that like, look, if there are places where Black people are like, hey, we tried to get you to vote and you didn't do it, so like, screw you. I absolutely am with that. I also know that I also though feel like that doesn't mean that they're Republicans. Like, we can have the conversation of like, do they need to put their bodies on the line? And they also still think that Donald Trump's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that doesn't translate to the online space where people are trying to point fingers at who's doing what.
Totally. And Twitter is like three people who still follow you and a bunch of bots. So it's like, who are you talking to? Like, why do you, like, there's no real going viral. There's no like message really coming through. It's a bunch of bots that are on the right being like, nobody's at the protests. Nobody's at Beyonce's concert. Nobody likes the Olympics. And I'm like, okay.
Also, more extreme statements inherently go viral. They get more engagement. So we're seeing the most extreme points of view. And I think that that has actually started to work on people's minds. Like everyone thinks in these absolutes when everything is very nuanced. Like everyone wants to be like, oh, the Democrats lost the election because of this reason, because of this reason. It's like, it's a different reason. Everyone thinks of things differently.
Actually a lot of reasons.
All the reasons. It's like you're trying to get these tiny margins of votes and you're going to say it's one reason. No, it's like all these things working in concert.
Actually, there is one reason, Sami.
What is it? Oh, tell us.
The one reason is that Donald Trump's been famous for 50 years and America is like, I know who that is. That's the guy from The Apprentice. They have like no memory about COVID at all because the media wiped it the moment they could. And so they're like, yeah, I mean, I know him. I don't know anybody else. I know that guy and he's still alive. So I'm going to vote for the guy that I've heard of. It's so dumb. But in my mind, if Kamala had been famous for 50 years, I think it would have been much closer. My son agrees.
Interesting.
Yes, Fauci says yes.
Fauci agrees.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, how would an Oprah versus Donald Trump have gone?
In 2016, it would have been a wrap.
Slay.
She should have run. And if you think about it, her amount of power diminished because she didn't run. Like, where is Oprah now? She didn't have a show.
She interviewed Kamala Harris.
You watched that bitch. What's going on with you now?
Come on, Oprah. Yeah. You need to come out the woodwork and like get some political power. You're not 80. What's going on?
I know. Shit. We need Oprah for Senate, right? Yeah. Oprah for Secretary of State.
Right. Honestly, if she was just like, I'm going on the shows at the exact same time as Donald Trump on a different network.
Oh, yeah.
And just countering,
tune in. Yeah.
We would all be like, you know what? I missed her.
Yeah. I need a car. You need a car.
Mm-hmm. Someone's got to pay her, though. Well, the thing is, I don't think she even needs money anymore. So what do you give Oprah? The person who has everything. Another tree,
attention,
a good harvest, a beautiful party.
A Nobel Peace Prize.
A Nobel Peace Prize. Ooh. Okay.
She already sent her best friend to space. There's really nothing we can do.
She sacrificed her friend to space. Like, there's nothing else.
All right. Well, this has been fun. Everyone check out How Is This Better with Akilah Hughes. This was so much fun. We love chatting with you. And until next time.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Until next time, I'm V Spear.
And I'm Sami Sage.
And this is American Fever Dream.